right, now we're narrowing in on some of our key ingredients here. Let's see what we got behind door number 3. Oh, that's our cacao powder again, so we already did that one. Here we have Ho Shu Wu. This is a Chinese herb, absolutely one of my favorites. It would be illegal if they knew that it was so good, so you might as well take advantage of it right now. It's a super Jing herb, adrenal, kidney, lower back, reproductive, hamstrings, knees, ankles, hearing, neurotransmitters, especially associated with the adrenals and that area of your body, the phenethylamine metabolism. And if you look here, we've got 8. I'm going to do 10 capsules of this stuff. And this is a great system for getting herbs to you, is this encapsulation technology. And we're just going to open these caps because they've been shielded from oxygen, so they're very, very fresh. All the ingredients inside are very, very fresh. There we go. We just open that up. We dump those in. Ho Shu Wu is a root, and it's one of the great roots in Chinese medicine. It's based on the story of Mr. Ho, and Mr. Ho was basically infertile and impotent for most of his life, and then one day he was walking home, and this plant spoke to him, and this plant was Ho Shu Wu. And Ho Shu Wu caught his attention so strongly that he went to his local herbalist and said, "What the heck is that plant over there?" And his local herbalist gave him the story about the plant, that it rejuvenates you, gives you virility, makes you stronger, it gives you a long life. And Mr. Ho started eating Ho Shu Wu and grew all his hair back, fathered 17 children according to the legend, and lived a long, healthy life. And Ho Shu Wu actually means Mr. Ho's hairy back. This will not put hair on your back. Might put hair on your chest, though. And now what are we going to do? Well, once we get down to the wire here, we're going to blend in that Reishi Chaga spring water tea that we've been talking about and turn this thing into a hot chocolate. Before we can do that, though, we have one last consideration, and that is sweetener. We could do it bitter. That's possible. If you're very ill, let's say you had cancer or something, you would do this bitter. You would not sweeten it at all. You would do it just like this. Take that drink right here, pour this in, and boom, you'd be rocking, ready to go. And you just kind of have to toughen it up and just, do it bitter. However, since we don't have cancer and candida right now in this house, we are going to take our sweeteners. This is the last of our honey. This is all that's left. I'm going to show you a little trick. It's a really good trick. And that is, I'm going to put this spoon in here and try to get all this honey out, right? There's little bits and debris there. But I'm going to do it in a very special way. Watch closely. I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to take my wonderful drink here, and I'm going to pour it in there. Watch this. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to get every last little bit of honey that we got, because we don't have any left. Another reason why I'm doing this is because I know that having that spoon in there is actually a heat sink. Because I have the spoon in there, this glass will not break. If I didn't have that spoon in there, this glass would break. But the spoon allows me to get that hot tea in there, get all those last goodies in there, and then watch this. Boom. Look at that. Almost all gone. We almost got it all. I'll fish for the last little corner and down there. And we got the last bit of our honey. This is wonderful. There we go. Okay, real good trick for anybody who's stuck in a pinch and wants to get the last little bit of their honey out. Now we have another honey jar. Here it is. This one's down to the wire. So we're going to do the same thing again. Again, the metal spoon goes in so you can scoop and get what you need to get. Look how little honey's left in there. But the hot water comes in, the tea, and just dissolves that honey and allows you to access all the goodies that are on the rim, in the sides, and at the bottom. There we go. Oh, fill it up a little bit more. Gotta have that spoon in there. Very, very important, because without that spoon, this glass is going to crack. With the spoon, you got mileage. It's going to work. Here we go. Boom. So we got all that in there. Look at that. It's all gone. That's the end of that.
Beautiful.
Okay, wonderful. So we've got our sweetener in there. Is that enough? Maybe it's enough. Generally, if this is for me, what I will do is I will probably go a little bit more bitter. I mean, that would be enough for me. But because we're serving some friends and family here, we're actually going to add a little bit more sweetener in. Luckily, we have a couple options. We've got a little bit of raspberries and we've got a little bit of dates. All these raspberries are just going to go in. So this is just organic raspberries, fresh. Boom, those go in. Schlink, done. And then we're going to take maybe 2 of these dates and throw them in there. Date sugar is really a sweet sugar. It's really something you want to be careful about most of the time. But, you know, for serving 6 people, 7 people, you could throw a couple dates in there. It's all going to be fine. And it gives it a thick richness. It's almost going after that milkshakey feel again that we're talking about. And that's kind of what we want this thing to be like. But not so much a milkshake, but more like a hot chocolate milkshakey kind of beverage. Okay, so there we are. Now we've got a pretty good base going. We've already got some tea in there. I'm going to reach over here, and we got a really amazing Chaga Reishi tea with all its immune system factors in it. Chaga, king of mushrooms, #1 herb against cancer according to the research. That's right here, this Chaga that is found all across the temperate regions of the world, revered in Siberian shamanism, is the #1 herb against cancer according to the research. Google it, check it out yourself. Chaga, Inonotus obliquus, is the Latin binomial. Here we go. So we're going to pour this in here. Hope that lid stays on. Looks like it's going to. Maybe we can angle. And we've got our hot tea. Now you got to be careful when you're dealing with a tea like that. You don't want to go too high. You're going to have some leakage when you start blending. I'm just going to get a little bit more of a splash in. And put the tea down. Here goes the lid. Boom. Okay, very important lesson. Get that lid on tight. This is a Vitamix high-speed blender. Only use high-speed blenders. Get on eBay if you don't have the money and get one that's already been used. You definitely want a high-speed blender so you never have to deal with any kind of weak blender again and have a bunch of stuff at the bottom. You know, get your money's worth by getting a good blender so you get everything completely incinerated in here when this thing goes on. Okay, now I've got this on low. I don't have a dial, so I'm going to do a little bit of kind of like revving to get this thing really mixing properly. Pretty much looking like the best ever at this point. Okay, now we are ready. It looks like we have a frothing hot chocolate beverage ready for consumption. You can see I just did it exactly at the limit of what this Vitamix blender can handle. I love Vitamix blenders. I've been using them since 1980. I'm not part of the company. They don't pay me. I'm just telling you the truth. It is the best blender in the world, period. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach over here, let's see, right here, and I'm going to use my spoon trick again. This is glass, and that's a hot drink, so we want to make sure that we don't break any glass. I'm going to put the spoon in there, and let's give it a try. Let's give it a go here. You can see how frothy it is. This was so revered in ancient Mexico about the chocolate drink. You always wanted a nice amount of froth. You wanted that head on your drink. Okay, so let's go stir this up. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, interesting. If you hit it just right, it's like a mocha. You know, lots of people just will do anything for a mocha, but they know it's not good for them. This is a mocha that's good for you. Every single ingredient is a superfood, a super herb, and or spring water. Pretty much can't beat that. That is the Chocolate Elixir Smoothie Update with me, David Wolfe. Thanks for joining me. Excelsior, Skull, cheers.